Hey guys, Bearded Viking Gamer here, and today I got a special video for you. I have been seeing comments and stuff of, how can you do a video on how you clean your games? What do you do to clean them? Things like that. So today I think I'm going to show you guys basically the materials that I use, and some of the processes and stuff that I go through to clean some of these cartridge-based games. Because, as in any gamer's life, keeping that stuff clean keeps it lasting for a long time, and nobody wants to have something that doesn't work anymore further down the road. So it's the key is keeping everything super clean, and that's what I like to do. Is when you get stuff that's 30 years old, it's going to have gunk and stuff on it. So let me show you guys some of the stuff that you're going to need here, and let's jump to it. Alright guys, so here we are. Here's some of the items and stuff that you would need for an everyday cleaning on things. This is what I use mostly, and it works really well for me. So I like to, well, first things first here. You need to buy these. These are security screwdrivers, okay? And they actually sell them in a pack. I think this is still the package that came from Amazon when I ordered it. I've had it now for, I don't know, a couple years, and they still look like this. I've still looked on here, and you can still see the little blue on here. And there are little star bits kind of on the end of them. I don't know if you can really even see anything like that. But here, this is a 3.8 millimeter, and this is a 4.5 millimeter. So these ones are used for like the Nintendo, your Game Boy cartridges, the Game Gear cartridges. This is the smaller one. That's used for all those Super Nintendo. And then Genesis and stuff use these bigger ones, and that's the 4.5 millimeter. And it's used for like the system and taking apart certain games on there. So that's the first thing you need to have for sure. Because the way I clean them is I like to open up my cartridge and clean the inside of those contacts very, very well. And remember, some of these games are 30 years old. And so there's going to be some dust and gunk, and I guarantee, just if you let them sit out there in the garage, you go try to plug them in your system, it's probably not going to fire right up. You're going to get weird glitches and stuff on your screen and everything just because it's dirty. That's the only reason. So another thing that I like to use on these is a 1-up card. Okay, if you don't have one of these, for sure, these are your best friend right here. Q-tips. You see retro game stores do this stuff all the time where they use alcohol and a Q-tip, okay? These are your friends right here. You can just dab it in there, rub it in on the contacts, back and forth on it, so flip it over to the dry side and clean it, and you're going to see that there's dirt and debris and stuff on your Q-tip. Throw that Q-tip away, grab another Q-tip, and repeat. Just do it over and over and over again in cleaning. But I'm going to show you a different method. I'm going to show you taking it apart, and I'm going to do one of the NES games here with a pink eraser and a brush and some alcohol and stuff as well. To me, it helps. I can just see a difference in the clean. There's lots of things to use though. So for like sticker residue, if you have problems with stickers all over your game, say you have an expensive game, say you have Rule Rose and there's a sticker right across the front of it and you don't want to mess anything up, one of the really good things is Goo Gone, okay? You got to be careful with this stuff. A little goes a long way. But this stuff is amazing, okay? And this just doesn't work right away. So you got to put a little bit on the sticker and let it sit for like 5 to 10 minutes. And what it's doing is it's soaking through that sticker and it's eating away the actually sticky residue that's on that sticker. And your sticker's going to slide right off of there and clean right off with a towel. Super simple. And I mean, you can take a game that's very expensive like that and increase the value just by cleaning it up, okay? That's a good method of doing it. Now, if a game is super, super dirty, say for like, this one's Bad Dudes, for example. I had these two games were sitting in the garage in a stack of games in there that I have to go through and clean, which I already have these two titles in the collection, so once I clean them up, they go into a trade bin, and I trade them for games that I don't have. So these I know are dirty. I can actually see in here. I can see. You guys probably won't come through on there at all, but these are filthy. They would not work, and I wouldn't put these in my console anyways just to try it out. I always want to clean the stuff first before I do it, otherwise I'm going to end up dirtying the console, and then I have to take that apart and clean that. So it's way easier just to clean the games so that your console stays clean all the time. If your game's super dirty and it does not clean off with a Q-tip and alcohol like we mentioned, then you can go to this method. This is Brasso. I very rarely use this. I normally don't have to, but I have had to before. But this is Brasso, and it's a metal polisher, metal cleaner. And what this does is this cleans those pins up, the pins that are inside your NES cartridges and your Super Nintendo games and all those. It cleans those up to a bright, bright polish, and that'll totally work in your system. Because all it is the connectors, just the 72-pin connector just needs to connect to those metal strips right here. All your pins right here need to connect to there and make contact in order for your game to play on the screen. That's all you're doing, is you're just taking the extra step and cleaning all that metal off there. Or you're cleaning the metal so it's to a polish. It makes it 10 times easier for the stuff to read. Now, a lot of people always say, well, what do you do with marker and stuff? Because you see games that have markers and stuff, and it says, from Dave or Dave's cartridge or something, Well, what works really good is you can try the Q-tip and alcohol. That has worked for me. You can start to see it come off, but there's always still a little bit. And what works really well, you just have to be very careful with it, is the magic eraser, okay? This stuff works wonders as well of taking markers off. The only problem with it is when you get this wet and you start rubbing it on your cartridge, you don't want to do it on a label. You want to do it on the plastic of the cart, normally where they wrote their marker. And it will, though, if you do it enough, it will take the little surface of that cartridge off. You'll see the texture kind of go away a little bit. So you got to be very careful with that. If you can, try to just use alcohol and Q-tips. One of the main things, too, when you're looking for alcohol on here is you want anything over 90 proof, okay? 70 proof, it'll work, but the remainder of that's normally mixed with water and stuff, and water and electronics, as you know, do not mix. So what I'm using is 91% isopropyl alcohol. Okay, it's going to work perfect. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you guys taking apart an NES game, and then I'll show you guys what I use with the pinky eraser and how I do that stuff. But also, what you can also do for disc-based games is I used to have a little disc cleaner, and of course those things, they're like $30. They're horrible for your games, honestly. I used to use it because that's all I had. I didn't have a good cleaner for it. But then as I started picking up a library of games around here, I started to buy a machine, and for the money, this thing has paid for itself. This thing is awesome. I would recommend this to anybody. Let me show you what it is here. This is for disc-based games, and this is similar to, obviously the machines they have in retro game stores are thousands of dollars. This was only like $130, and it's the JFJ Easy Pro. If you can see it right here. And what this thing does is it comes with two different solutions. You just pop your game into the screw hole, you screw it in there, and you have one solution that you put on one pad, and you put it in there and you start it for 1:30 or so, okay, if it's got heavy scratches on it, all right? And then you switch that pad out, keep the game in there, and you put a polishing compound on another pad. And I always label my pads 1 and 2 so I know this is solution 2, this is solution 1. Super simple, I don't ever get them mixed up, they're two different colors. And what that polishing does then after that, it only takes about 30 seconds or 40 seconds on that polishing compound. And what that does, that takes that disc and fills in all those scratches with that white compound, and then that blue compound's your polisher, so it polishes the whole disc. And when you look back at that thing, there's no scratches, hardly any visible at all on that thing, and it's going to work. Of course, the way disc and stuff is done is the material is sitting almost very close to the top surface of the top of the disc. So if there was a huge scratch on the top of the disc, most likely your game's not going to work. Even if you tried to resurface it or do anything, if you had a real heavy scratch through the top, most of that data is sitting right on the tip top of that disc, not on the bottom on the shiny part where you think it would be. So that's something to keep in mind too. If you guys have a ton of disc-based games and you're wanting to clean, for sure try that JFJ Easy Pro. I bought mine. I bought it on Amazon, and I've had it for maybe, a year and a half or so. I love it. The thing is amazing. There's even little attachments that I picked up for it, and I bought I bought an attachment which is a smaller disc, and it does GameCube games too, which is sweet. So that's a hard one to find. Is normally something to do with GameCube games because they're a lot smaller. So that thing works wonders. But yeah, let me take you through here, and I'm going to show you guys just a basic clean on a cartridge for the NES stuff, what I do. Alright guys, so let's show you here. The first things first here, we're going to take Bad Dudes, okay? Bad Dudes, like I said, it's been sitting in the garage for a little while. I'm going to take the smaller screwdriver bit, the 3.8 millimeter, and I'm going to flip this cartridge over. Now there's 3 screws here. Some of the old NES cartridges only have 5 screws. So most of these have 3. The old original, some of the Metroids, things like that, those have 5 screws, some of them, okay? We're going to take our screws, we put them right here so we don't lose any of them. So this will give you a really good kind of an idea how dirty some of this stuff gets. And it might not look crazy dirty to you, but I guarantee it will not work if you put it in your NES right now. So this thing just peels right off of here. Here it comes. Alright, now we got our board here, guys, okay? And what's cool about this is there's only one way you can physically put this thing back in here. It won't fit the backwards. It won't fit backwards on the cart, so you can't mess it up that way. You don't have to worry about that. So it does only fit the way that they have these grooves. It will only fit in there one way, which is neat. It's neat that Nintendo even thought about something like that so those guys don't even mess it up when they put it in here. So what we're looking for here is we're looking at these pins here. And I know the lighting is not optimal for it, but I'm going to clean one side here and show you guys basically what we're looking at here. So I'm going to go for this side right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pinky eraser, right? And I'm just going to scrub on it. Okay. I'm just going to rub the one side, and we're going to see if you can see a difference in there. You might not be able to tell in the lighting here, but I scrub it pretty good. And if you get a little bit on the actual circuit board, it's not going to hurt anything, okay? It's not going to hurt anything. Okay. Now I'm going to take my brush. I'm just going to brush all the remainder off, okay? Now, if you're looking at both of these here, let me see if I can get you guys an actual, I don't know if I can get you guys to see that or not. But this side is way cleaner than this side. That's a super simple fix to do there. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to go ahead and clean this side here too. Now I'm going to get both sides here. Like I said, this game will last now for a long time because you're going to keep it in a nice area. Most collectors are going to keep them indoors, keep them, you know, out of the elements. But heck, you know, this hasn't been cleaned probably in 30 years. So now that one's clean. Now you can see that it's super, super shiny. Don't forget to do the back side. We're going to get the other side now. Same step. It's always fun to do this, you know. I'll go out in the garage when it's nicer weather out and like to get a couple beers, just sit there and clean some games up. My daughter and stuff will come in there every once in a while and help out. Want to help out with the cleaning. All right, so now basically they got most of the dirt and stuff off. And what I'm going to do now is the last step here. I'm going to still do the alcohol and this and the Q-tip, and I'm just going to rub it across here. Just get any remainder rubber or any if there's any of that on there, and clean it off. And this stuff, it evaporates fairly quickly, so I don't know if you guys can actually see how shiny those pins are now, but I can tell you that those things are super shiny. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our game. What I also like to do here is I'll take another Q-tip, get some more alcohol on it, and I clean out 30 years of people's DNA blown into cartridges and stuff in here. Clean all that crap out. I mean, look at that. It's already starting to turn brown. You know, it's DNA in there. Multiple people. You never know if this was a rental or whatever. You got a ton of people do it to the same thing to the other side. This is just cleaning the inside of it. Look at this. Look at that. You know. So now that we have those clean, the inner parts in here normally never get any dirt and stuff in here because it's blocked by this wall here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put this cartridge back in here. It falls right into place like that. He's going to go right over the top here. Let's see here. Alright, this is going to sit right on top. Take our screws. And you don't want to go crazy over tightening any of these screws because they're not, you don't want to suck the plastic in on where the sticker is on the other end, and I'll show you here. I'll put these back in here. And one more. And there you have it. Now this game, I'm going to show you a little something here with the label what you can do. Okay, I take a paper towel, and what's cool about these NES games is you take a paper towel and you wet it with a little bit of alcohol. Okay, not much, doesn't take much. And now you take that alcohol and you rub it all over the game here. And what this is doing is it cleans all the dirt and grime off of your actual label and things like that. You can do it to the back side as well, and it'll actually end up looking way shinier and newer. Now you cannot do the same thing. Look at that, look how clean that is. Look how shiny that label comes back to life after 30 years, you know. It's kind of crazy. And you can't do this. You can't rub the alcohol on like a Nintendo 64 game, just because if you try to do it on a 64 game, they don't have a plastic protectant over their actual label. It's actually just a sticker label, and you'll end up wiping all of the dyes and stuff off of your sticker, which is ruin the cover label. So you got to be careful there and not do that. But that's typically how I will clean each of my games as I go through here on the shelf. And it takes some time, but you know what? You end up with a really clean collection, and it's totally worth it. So if you guys liked any of the stuff on here, leave a comment down below. I like to hear from you. I hope you guys have a good Turkey Day. So Thanksgiving's tomorrow. Maybe you guys will spend some time cleaning some stuff. I don't know. But I appreciate it, guys, and I hope to see you guys next week. Have a good one.